Welcome to the Game Changer 00100 show. I'm your host, Game Changer, and came across a story today. This is a very sad story. Basically, this is the story of a woman who saw fit to end the life of her 12-year-old son because of something about a missing SD card. You know those cards that like holds extra pictures and stuff like that. They're very small, but that's the whole point of it. Very small, very easy to lose. It's one of those things that commonly go missing, like iPhone headsets and things like that. It's just one of those things. And over that, she killed him. Now that should be an open and shut story. You know, she killed him, she confessed, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you're saying, Game Changer, why are you covering this? Is this just to make them, and by them I mean black women, look bad? To paint them in a bad light? Or is it really, it's not about that. It's about the light that they paint for themselves. Here's what I mean. I'm going to show you how the news and how the media handled this. Now, I want y'all to stop and remember about how what happens when someone else does it. When someone who's not a black woman kills a young black man. I want y'all to remember Tamir Rice. I want y'all to remember, I want y'all to remember all of them. Trayvon Martin, etc. Remember the outrage. Remember the way the public behaved. Now, y'all can say that this was years ago, but I'm going to go deeper into it. All right. Let me share the screen. Well, nobody's going to cover this story. The news barely covered the story, and I'm going to get into that too. All right, fair use.
Tonight, as the mother sits behind bars, her family speaking out about mental illness, saying that topic should be front and center in this tragedy.
Kaden Ingram was only 12 years.
Okay. I'm going to play that part again because it was buffering a little bit, but that's a very important part.
Tonight, as the mother sits behind bars, her family speaking out about mental illness.
Her family is speaking out about mental illness, already with the excuses, already with the insanity plea, already with the blah, 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 mental illness. Of course you're mentally ill. You're crazy. Whenever somebody does something like this, this is a sick thing to do, meaning that the person who did it was sick in the head. But they're saying the focus should be on mental illness. Let's take the focus off the murdering bitch for a second, and let's put the focus on mental illness.
Saying that topic should be front and center in the.
That should be front and center. No, the woman shooting the young man in the head, her own son. That should be front and center. That should be, it should be nationwide publication on this. We need to talk about mental illness. What the hell?
This tragedy.
Kaden Ingram was only 12 years old.
He was the joy of my life. He was everything. He was everything that a father could ever want in a child.
The seventh grader shot and killed on Saturday morning inside of his home on the city's south side. Police say the shooter was his own mom. Fallon Harris now facing murder charges.
It's a hurting feeling. It's undescribable.
Kaden's dad got the call just a short time after investigators say Harris opened fire inside of the home in 8000 block of South Bennett Avenue. The shots fired after investigators say she asked her son to hand over a memory card. When he didn't have it, detectives say she shot him. The child...
All right. So she goes to her son and says, "Hey, son, where's my memory card?" He says, "Mom, I don't have it." And she pulls out a gun and shoots him in the head. Believe it or not, it gets worse.
was still conscious, but that's when investigators say Harris walked back again and opened fire.
I want y'all to hear that.
Just a short time after investigators say Harris opened fire inside of the home in 8000 block of South Bennett Avenue. The shots fired after investigators say she asked her son to hand over a memory card. When he didn't have it, detectives say she shot him. The child was still conscious, but that's when investigators say Harris walked back again and opened fire a second time. Kate.
So she shot him in the head. He laid there and suffered with a bullet in his head. Or maybe it went straight through. Who knows? Her reaction wasn't a, "I can't believe I shot my kid over an SD card." Her reaction was, "You ain't dead yet? Oh, okay." And she shot him again.
Kaden died.
Because his mother is a loving mother. She loved him more.
And this nigga is the type of person that marries crazy, murdering bitches. Or he's the type of person that, I don't know if he married her, but he's the type of person that goes raw into a crazy, murdering business. And I know y'all saying that I should have more sympathy and compassion for this fellow black man. But look at what he's doing. Through all of this, he's defending the mother. She was a loving mother. Are you kidding me? Are you joking? Are you joking right now when what you have to say about her is she was a loving? This is love? This is what you call love? So clearly you have a distorted view. You're just a bad judgment. You have a bad judgment of character. Your ability to judge someone's character is awful. That is why you impregnated this type of person. Like, there should be signs if somebody is this mentally ill. There should be signs that's apparent to you. That should be apparent to you before you decide to take the condom off. Your judgment is bad. But instead of for mourning his son, which is what the entire interview would be filled with for most people, most non-simpish people will mourn their son and scorn the son's murderer. But you're not most people. You're a special case. Once again,
Was still conscious, but that's when investigators say Harris walked back again and opened fire a second time. Kaden died.
because his mother is a loving mother. She loved him more than she loved anything in this world.
Family members say Harris was
Because his mother is a loving mother. She loved him more than she loved anything in this world. Well, she didn't love him more than she loved the SD card. Apparently, she didn't love him more than she loved a cheap SD card and the pictures or whatever that's on it.
struggling mentally. They say she just saw a therapist the day before the shooting.
She just saw a therapist the day before the shooting. Okay. I'm going to get into why I don't buy that crap before, but it seems like she probably was trying to make a precedent. Like, you see, I'm crazy. I just seen a therapist, and right when she got the receipt, she pulled some crap like this. But let's continue.
People need to know that mental illness is real.
Right now, Harris.
And there he is making excuses. People need to know mental illness is real. Of course it's real. That doesn't negate from the fact that something should be done about people who are a danger to themselves and others. And that thing should not be good.
Is held without bond on the South Side. I'm Alexis McAdams, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
Wait a minute. Did she mess up her own name? Hold on.
People need to know that mental illness is real.
Right now, Harris is held without bond on the South Side. I'm Alexis McAdams.
Yeah, she messed up her own name. She said Alexis McAdams. That's, I mean, I don't want to end on that note, but that was something that happened. All right. So, black woman shoots a 12-year-old black boy in the head, realizes he wasn't dead, comes back and shoot him again over SD card. And then she says, mental illness, mental illness. Well, actually, she didn't even have to make her defense. The father of the boy made it for her. And so does everybody else. Like, it's okay because she's mentally ill. Ever notice how they never say that about anybody else? Like, are there mentally ill cops out there? Like, they never really say that. They just say they make excuses for one group and automatically condemns another group. Now, I want to read a couple of things about the story. Oh, because this is it. Y'all don't believe me? This is it. Hold on. Let me show you what I mean when I say this is it. This is it. This is it. People, y'all, this is what I mean when I say her name is Fallon Harris. If you go to YouTube right now and Google Fallon Harris, this is it. This is fucking it. 2 stories totaling 2 minutes of coverage. That is it. That's it. That's all this little boy gets. Less than 100,000 views. That's it. That's all he gets. His mother shot him in the head twice. And WGN News and ABC Chicago is it. That's all he gets. That's all you're going to find on him throughout all of YouTube. They have the one story, they have the next story. Now they're talking about Kamala Harris and blah, 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 blah. Just other people named Harris. That's it. So, which means I have to read the story to get the details. All right, so city worker displays paranoid behavior. Now, this is, let's see, this is, I guess, Channel 5 in Chicago, for those of you who are there. City worker displays paranoid behavior before killing 12-year-old son, prosecutors. So right there in the title, they're defending the mother. They're saying she displayed paranoid behavior. Okay, I'll bite. She's paranoid. Well, let's see. Fallon Harris, family worried about her mental health. Stop right there. Why are they worried about her mental health when they should be worried about the safety of the child? See, nobody cares about the black boys. That's why it's only got 2 minutes of coverage nationwide. Everybody's concerned about the mother, her mental health. Family worried about the mental health, worried about her mental health. What about his mental health? His mentals has a bullet in it. Had encouraged her to get treatment advice. The longtime city worker finally had, finally heeded Friday, meeting with a therapist for the first time. Okay, so even with these issues, she's able to hold a job. But just a day later, her family learned the true depth of her despair. Harris now stands accused of killing her cherished 12-year-old son inside their South Chicago home. Kaden Ingram died from multiple gunshot wounds to the head. Okay. According to the Cook County Medical Examiner's Office. All right. This is something I didn't notice before, but his last name is different than hers. It could mean a lot of things, but one thing is almost completely certain is that she wasn't married to the father. The guy that's now defending the woman who killed his son. We didn't know that this was going to transpire, said Lavelle Ingram, her estranged husband. Oh, okay, so they were married, and boy's father. We didn't know that this was going to happen. Of course. Of course. You think something like this happened and then somebody out there was going to say, "Oh, I knew this was going to happen." No, this is something that's very unusual and bizarre. She loved Kaden more than anything in this world. Yeah, so not to just quoting what he said on the show. Said Ingram, who's trying to pick up the pieces and plan his son's funeral. Oh, God. I'm losing a god. I'm losing a young genius. I don't know if he was actually a genius, but it's possible. It's possible, but I'm pretty sure he was very bright for his age. Or else his father would have, he would have found other compliments for him. And possibly, and maybe he was a genius, who knows. But he said of Kaden, who loved professional wrestling, anime, video games, and history. I'm losing everything I had in this world. Everything. Yet you defend the person who took it. I'm going to be honest, I don't like this dude. In addition to the way he feels about the mother, his estranged wife, in addition to that, this last thing, I'm losing. I hate it when something happened to somebody else and then they say how it affects them. To me, that comes off as extraordinarily selfish. I'm losing. So he lost his life. Harris now faces a single count of first-degree murder in the killing at the home in the 8,000 block of South Bennett Avenue, according to officials. The 37-year-old was denied bail during her initial court appearance Sunday. Let's see. During the hearing, Cook County Assistant Eugene Wood explains Harris' violent outbursts began at around 10:15 a.m. Saturday when she pressed Kaden about the whereabouts of a digital memory card she had removed from her vehicle the previous night. After Kaden was unable to produce the memory card when his mother demanded it at gunpoint, she shot him, Wood said Sunday during Harris' initial court appearance. Video surveillance camera inside the home captured audio of that first confrontation and gunshot. Harris then answered a phone call before demanding the memory card. Okay. See, this is something that they kept out of that, minute and 30-second coverage that they did. So apparently, she shot him in the head, got on the phone, start talking about blizz, blast, and ham, and then, well, let's read. Let's see. Harris then answered a phone call before demanding the memory card. Oh, God. Oh, God. She shot him in the head. Demanded the memory card again after he survived an initial shot in the head. She got on the phone talking to who knows who. Went back and said, "Where's my memory card?" Again. All right, let's see. I gotta find my spot again. Video cameras. Let's see. Capture video, audio. Harris then answered a phone call before demanding the memory card again from Kaden, who was still conscious and crying. He said he didn't know where it was. She shot him again. That second shot, which caused Kaden to collapse on the kitchen floor, was clearly captured on video, Wood said. Harris later admitted to two family members that she had shot her son because he wouldn't return the memory card. Wood said, in turn, they both called the police and Ingram, that's the father, who met officers at the home. When she answered the door, Harris confessed to the officers and led them to a silver revolver. Now stop right there. And this is why I wanted to read the story. This, all the other stuff was important too, but this is why I wanted to read the story to you, because this is the part that they didn't really cover in that clip that I gave you. One question. Where was the crazy? Where was the crazy then? So apparently you have this short fuse, you have something in you that just makes you shoot in the head, ask for your SD card, and then shoot in the head again because you're paranoid. Okay, I'll bite. But where was the crazy then? Where was the crazy then that would make the same person who does something like that do the same thing to the cops? Where was the crazy then? Because you seemed pretty sane then. You seem pretty sane. You seem pretty, oh yes, officer, the revolver that I used to kill my son is in the back room in the Reebok box. No, not that box. That actually has Reeboks in it. No, yeah, that one right there. Where was the crazy then? You wasn't crazy then. What, you got selective crazy? Gotta find my place again. In turn, they called the police. When she answered the door, she confessed to the officers of a revolver, according to Wood, who said she had a concealed carry license and owned 2 guns. Okay, let's see. All right, so yeah, he was taken to the medical center, pronounced dead. Hold on. I'm skimming through it. Okay, it says, can I talk to my mama? She said, or she asked. This is matriarchal thinking at its best. All right, let's see. Describe residents who has worked to say sometimes city records show that she's employed by Chicago Department of Transportation at a rate of. Okay, so she makes near 6 figures too. Let's see. Harris, coin appointed attorney, described her client as a lifelong Cook County resident who has worked as a city laborer for some time now. City records show how she employed by the Chicago Department of Transportation at a rate of $45.90 per hour. Okay, that's close to 6 figures. It's very close. All right, so let's see. All right, and that's pretty much it. All right, so let me read some super chats. Now, we know what the opposition isn't going to cover. They're not going to cover this story. E. Burner says, thanks for covering this, homie. This is some foul stuff. Yeah, it is. It is. Now, we know what, the people, the women on the other side, the sisterhood, isn't going to cover. Now, I want to show you what they are going to cover, however. What they did cover while this was going on. Fair use, people. Fair use. All right. So.
And the third one died with her. That's all I have to say. She was a victim. Family members of 31-year-old Shanice Young are grieving, and they say they are trying to set the record straight. They say the mother, who was 9 months pregnant, was being stalked by an ex-boyfriend who they say was waiting for her as she unloaded baby gifts into the lobby of her building on West 128th Street in Frederick Douglass Boulevard after her baby shower. The reports tell Pix 11 there was a fight on the sidewalk between her current boyfriend and her ex. Young was shot in the face and died at Harlem Hospital.
Okay. Some things I want to point out. Oh, look, the local priests. They got the local clergy there. Look at how much more attention this story is getting. You had a neighborhood out, all the people crying. There's no sympathy for the victim. Nope. Or excuse me, the sympathy is for the victim. Nobody is saying he's crazy. He's suffering from mental illness. He's suffering from, nope, there's none of that. There's nothing but scorn for this man. And there's nothing but sympathy for this woman.
Right here with the sister shooting. I'm very upset and I'm angry. I shouldn't be angry as a clergy, but this one here has touched my heart.
The shooting happened just after 1:15 a.m. Sunday morning, and hospital chaplain Robert Rice spent hours consoling family and friends.
Look at just the emotional outpour. I can't believe that this happened to an adult woman. And don't get me wrong, there should be an emotional outpour, but it far surpassed the emotional outpour that that this little boy got. Far surpasses it, even by the boy's own father.
Outraged that we don't have community out here. Where's the outrage? We all scream Black Lives Matter, but when it's going to matter to us as a people in the community?
That's a very interesting point that you made. That is a point that you should make about the young boy that was shot in the head by his mother twice.
Activists against domestic violence are holding a 4 p.m. vigil tomorrow at the spot where
Activists against domestic violence. Okay, I guess that's an organization. There exists an organization out there called Activists Against Domestic Violence. Okay. So are you going to rally behind this little boy that was killed? Keep in mind, this happened at the same time. This is only like 1 day apart. This happened like at the same time. So where are these activists for this young boy? For this 12-year-old boy that was shot in the head at least twice by his mama over an SD card. Where the that's domestic violence. You see, here's what they don't tell you, but what everybody knows. Domestic violence is something that can only happen to women. They don't say that, but all the activist groups, when they really talk about domestic violence, that's what they really mean. It means violence from a non-woman against a woman. That's what they really mean. Violence against women.
Denise Young was killed to draw attention to the plight of victims of domestic violence and to tell them there is help. From Harlem, McGee, Nikki, 611 News. Emotions running high as family members of Shanice Young gathered around a memorial in front of the building where the 31-year-old was gunned down. Police sources say there was a dispute, and Young was trying to break up a fight before shots were fired. But a woman who identified herself as the victim's sister says that's not the case. She was 9 months pregnant. Shanice was a victim. Police say it happened just after one Sunday morning.
Okay, so I don't know what's going on here because I'm getting like different stories. One saying that they were fighting with the boyfriend, and another is saying that they were fighting with her, and another saying that it wasn't a fight at all. He just shot her. You know, who knows? Who knows? If I had to venture a guess, I would say that the current boyfriend and the ex-boyfriend were fighting, and she got involved. And then, you know, but who knows?
Outside of her building on West 128th Street, neighbors say the victim had just returned from her own baby shower with her current boyfriend.
Shanice had 2 daughters, and the third one died with her.
Stephanie McGraw, the director of We All Really Matter, an anti-domestic violence nonprofit, came to the scene to offer the family support.
Anything that ends with matter is bullshit. Ever since BLM, you have all these like offshoots that try to say blah, 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 blah matters. And this is the spokesperson. She heard about this, seen a camera op, and she put on her best scarf. Her best, her best, whatever you call that, her best head wrap. Her best purple head wrap. What is she, a Crip and a Blood at the same time? She decided, you know something? This is my time to shine. And this is what I'm going to call, and this is how I'm going to shine.
balances, and how dangerous is it? It still remains unclear if Young was the intended target, and so far, no arrests have been made. Reporting outside the 32nd precinct in Harlem, police are still searching for the suspect.
Okay, so this isn't like 5 minutes. Okay, so this is something different. This is just a string of several of them. All right, so Eisen said, I bet if the dad wouldn't have snapped in the interview about his son, I bet if the dad would have snapped in the interview about his son, that shit would have gotten no airtime. Can't say that about colored women. So you're saying that if the dad had an emotional outburst, that it wouldn't have gotten any airtime. So you're saying that it's not the community that oversympathizes with women and undersympathizes with children. It's the media. I think it's both. I'm curious about what's the father dynamic going on here. Oh, I also want to point out that nobody says allegedly. Like nobody's saying allegedly with, or maybe they did and I missed it, but I noticed that even though the woman confessed, the other woman confessed, they still said allegedly. And it was literally on camera. I even seen you on camera, allegedly. Oh yeah, so Eisen says, meaning that he couldn't talk negatively about her. It's the community and the media. I agree. So you saying if he was like, if he just like went off on her, that they would have edited it out, and yeah, because you can't speak against the double minority. Somebody says, why does the newscaster look like a model now? Listen, because that's her job. That's her job. If you're not extraordinarily attractive, you're wasting your time. I used to think this because where I went to school, the math department was right next to the communications department. And I would see it was maybe like 90% females there. They all wanted to be like weather girls or news anchors and stuff like that. And I'm thinking like in all of California, there's maybe like 500 newscasters, like in every single county and stuff like that. There's maybe that many. And there's going to be like 500 people graduating from this one university in that particular major every year. And since those jobs are already filled and they're going to be filled for quite some time, they may hire like one or two a year, which means that a lot of these girls are going to be disappointed. And I'm thinking like, which is with many majors. So I'm not, that was a side thought. But if you're not the hottest, if you're not a model that is connected, then just step the fuck off. Just step off. Like, if you're not you're not even the hottest in the class. And I'm talking to the ones who are not the hottest in that particular class. Like if it's 100 students and you're only one of them is the hottest, then why are the other 99 even there? I didn't get that. It's like, what you think that like, are they going to hire you or are they going to hire her? You should know this by now. So it's very weird, but yeah, that they look like that because it's their job to look like that, and really the degree is just like icing on the cake. She probably looks like that in addition to being connected. Oh, by the way, and back to the story. I want to know like the father makeup of the first two kids and and this guy. You know, like yeah, in this current one that she was pregnant with. Like, was the shooter, the alleged shooter, the father of any of them? But notice how nobody is saying he was crazy or, he was suffering from mental illness. They wasn't making excuses for him. Dang, everybody's out. Everybody's out, but where were all these people, for the Chicago boy that got shot in the head several times? Several times. All right. This portion here is for the sake of YouTube. YouTube, we are now 42 minutes in, and it's still not lit up. So, yeah. So, you see the light that show everybody that's on? It's not showing on my channel, meaning that there are restrictions on your side that you have to take care of. I'll be contacting you on that. All right. So, let's continue. In the meantime, hit the like button.
More than 4 in 10 Black women experience physical violence from an intimate partner during their lifetime. They also experience significantly higher rates of psychological abuse, including everything from name calling and financial abuse to humiliation, insults, and coercive control. More than 20% of Black women are ARD.
Basically, that's her way of saying that a significant number of Black women was called bitch before. But you want to garner additional sympathy for it. Let's listen.
Including everything from name calling and financial abuse to humiliation, insults, and coercive control.
Yep.
More than 20% of Black women are ARD during their lifetime. This is a higher share than among women overall, and Black women face a particularly high risk of being killed at the hands of Black women. Psychological abuse, including everything from name calling and financial abuse to humiliation, insults, and coercive control. More than 20% of Black women are ARD during their lifetime.
Oh, she said ARD. Okay.
This is a higher share than among women overall, and Black women face a particularly high risk of being killed at the hands of a Black man. Shanice Young was fatally shot while allegedly trying to break up a fight between her boyfriend and her ex.
Okay, so that's what I was predicting earlier, that the two men were fighting, and instead of for looking out for the safety of the child and herself, which is the feminine thing to do, she decides to break it up. And I don't think that she deserved to get shot at all. In fact, I don't even think that it was really like a bad thing that she did when she was trying to break it up. Yeah.
Others say that there was no fight and that her ex had intended on killing her. According to news articles, Shanice had filed 3 restraining orders against her ex, and that wasn't enough to stop him. She was going to have her baby in 5 days. She said, "This baby is coming in 5 days, Daddy. Get ready." I said, "I'll be ready." That's the last thing she said to me. According to her father, she put him out because he was cheating on her. Then he does this because she had an...
Okay. She put him out. I repeat, she put him out. One more time, she put him out. So basically, he's homeless. It's his place, or it's her place. Her name is on the lease or mortgage. And she kicked him out. because he cheated. Which means that, and this is interesting, a man, an adult man, who doesn't have his own place and one who is with a pregnant woman, once again, we don't know if the child was his, which means that a woman who's pregnant with his kid or a man who got with a pregnant woman and lived with her, one of those things seemed to be the case. Another woman said, you know something? This is the guy I want to sleep with. Like, ooh, he's living with a woman who's pregnant with his or somebody else's kids right now. For whatever reason, I want that inside me.
Young had 3 orders of protection against her ex since their split, according to the dad. Shanice was scared.
Okay, so, and this is the third option, and somebody brought this up in the chat room, that she wasn't pregnant at all. She later met the new dude and then got pregnant, which is a possibility. Don't get me wrong. The problem with that possibility, it means that this dude, because it's been 8 months, so it means that you've been like stalking and everything. You were kicked out over 8 months ago. And it also means that the new dude didn't really take much time in getting her pregnant, which means that there's a lot of strain. There's a lot of thirst going on there's an extraordinary amount of thirst going on in the Black community that's just like ridiculous. It's truly ridiculous, because the new dude, let's just take the new dude for example. He seen a single mother of 2, and this is provided that this news story is true, and said, you know something? I'm going to get her pregnant. Within a short period of time, before the period of time where the ex was out of her life completely, he got her pregnant. That's one possibility. 2, he got with a chick that was already pregnant. Like, it's just, we have, no matter what, this is a poor pool. This is a poor pool. Like, there isn't, we're not talking about high quality here. And this isn't me shaming the dead. This is just like, if you take her aside, this is like throughout the board. It's like, just for the thrill of having in-house punani, or having a house to have punani in, a lot of dudes are willing to just say, you know something? She has 2 kids, she's pregnant, but, Passissy is Passissy.
To death of him, he said. Friends and neighbors remembered Young as someone always eager to help others. Shanice would give you anything, her father said. She was very generous. She was there any time of the day, said a friend of the victim who spoke anonymously out of fear of the shooter. If you needed a plate of food or a bottle of water, she was there. If you needed a coat or a sweater, she was there.
What type of an adult needs a plate of food? If you needed a plate of food, she was there. Okay, well, I appreciate your generosity, I haven't really come across like people or persons who need a plate of food. Not adults. Like I've come across people who needed help moving, who needed a ride to the airport, stuff like that, but not like a plate of food.
Shanice and her unborn child did not deserve to have their lives snatched away from them. Domestic abuse is killing Black women. It's always protect Black women, but we are literally the least protected. And when we speak out about it, y'all.
You want to know who the least protected is? Your fetus, is that 12-year-old boy who was shot in the head by his mama, who said, "Where is my SD card?" She shot him in the head, answered the phone, asked him again as if after being shot in the head, he all of a sudden found the SD card. She shot him in the head. He was still alive, crying. And those of you who just came in, check this story out from the beginning. And then shot him in the head again. But, and then she said, "I'm the least protected."
I blame us. My condolences and prayers are with the family.
All right. That was commercial, and that's that. So there we have it. Somewhere in Chicago, a little boy, a 12-year-old boy, was shot in the head by his mama twice. At around the same time, somewhere in Harlem, a grown woman who's pregnant was shot in the face and killed. And now we got to see how the Black community reacts to both instances at the same time. How Black women and how Black men react to the difference in reaction between the murder of both a 12-year-old boy and a 25-plus-year-old woman. We now see the reactions. Who's valued more in Black society? Excuses were immediately made for that mother. Immediately. Even by the boy's own father. No excuses were made, nor should they be. Man is a murderer. He deserves to go to jail. I mean, no matter what happened, you did, and I hate people like this. I hate people who buy a piece and take their piece to a fight. And this is what I suspect that he did. Because that means that you are afraid to take an ass whooping. You're not going to hold the L if the fight doesn't go your way. So you had that backup plan on you. That was your intention. Well, I guess one could argue that he did it just in case the other guy was armed. Who knows? But yeah. But something about that really don't sit well with me. So pointing that out. But no matter what, you had hostile intent and a pregnant woman died. So you deserve what's coming, provided that that's how the story played out. And then on the other hand, you had a boy that was shot in the head that had no chance at all. he didn't have a fighting chance. And we see the outcry. Activist groups coming out of nowhere. And of course, these are BW-led activist groups, with the purple scarf, like, oh, we got to do something about this. I heard about this story and I had to react. And then you have the BW who make compilation videos on this. As, blah, 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 black men. The media isn't on our side. Because in order to be on our side, we have to call out certain behaviors of certain people, including this woman. And they don't want us to do that because then we can be called sexist or racist or anything. We're just going to get called ist if you call a murdering bitch a murdering bitch. You could call me any type of ist you want to. You know what you can't call me? A murderer. You know what I won't ever do? Commit murder. I forget what's the Latin for that. Somebody help me out. Matricide would be if the boy shot the mother. And patricide would be if the boy shot the father. Fratricide would be if the boy shot his brother. Sororicide would be if he shot his sister. What is the Latin for a mother who kills her son? Hold on, let me look that up. Oh, okay, I found it. It's called murdering bitch aside. So basically, this young man was the victim of murdering bitchicide. And that's something that is becoming far too common. Many would argue, and I would agree with many who would say that abortion is murdering bitchicide. And we are suffering from murdering bitchicide in the community. Now, I wanted to make this an hour, but I'm gonna go maybe 5 minutes. I'm gonna give the benefit of the doubt. I don't think she was crazy, or else that crazy would have, been displayed, on some Sandra Bland when the cops came. I don't think she was crazy. But let's just give her the crazy benefit of the doubt situation. Our community is set up to allow such crazy. Women like this are given jobs. Whenever a person works for the government, whether it's local or federal government or something like that, and they get paid an extraordinary amount and they are double minorities, that you were pretty much groomed for success. You've taken advantage of every privilege that's available to you as a double minority. So right out of high school, or the moment you decide to have a child, you can do no wrong. Everything you do is right and true, and nobody could tell you different. If the father or your husband tells you different, you can just divorce him and take the kid and go. If society tells you different, you could just call society racist or sexist or whatever it is. which means you have complete carte blanche over your kid. You are the ultimate authority over that. Now, to a person that's not all there, and because they're not all there, they are on a power trip. They're going to, whenever they feel that that power is threatened, they're going to take it to a different level. And that's what it's all about. This is about a power dynamic. She is mother, she is God. And where's my SD card? I am to be obeyed at all times. I'll show you. So with that, I want to thank the Cash Apps and Super Chats. Managers, oh, wait a minute. Actually, I missed one. MGTOW Flight, thanks a lot. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. All right. Actually, where's my phone? See if I missed any Cash Apps. Oh, crap. My phone's in the room. I'll be right back. All right. So the Cash Apps and Super Chats, managers and moderators, those who are listening silently, and those who participate in the chat. Make sure you hit that like button on your way out. And remember, this is Game Changer 00100. Game over. Peace.